What is that?
That would be my husband's Apple Watch that Jaden is currently trying to call.
Jaden, it's in here!
What do you need, Jaden?
5, boom. I got the big fat boom.
I gotta get out of this house. We've gotta leave.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Kristina. We're two best friends who met in college 12 years ago. I'm now a stay-at-home mom with 2 children, a preteen and a toddler.
And I'm a career mom with a toddler. We've been through a lot of life together, and we're here to tell you all the stuff we wish people would have told us. We are Millennial Moms.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Millennial Momming. Elizabeth is a loser and decided she needed this week off. So we brought back our favorite co-host, my best friend, and Elizabeth's cousin-in-law.
True.
Krissy. Welcome,
Hi, guys.
Krissy.
Glad to be back.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited. You should know that so many people were like, Krissy's awesome.
Aww.
Bring her back. Elizabeth sucks. No, I'm just kidding on
That
that
I
last
totally
one.
believe. I met her. I know.
You know her. She's just the suckiest. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, and I hope that you're enjoying your week off. Okay, so I have a really funny story to tell you. It's not that funny, but it's a little bit funny.
I love when people lead us. Like, I've got this funny story to tell you, and then they tell you, and you're just
It's
like...
not funny. That's why I said it's not that funny. It's a bit funny.
Chip, 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 yeah.
So, I had to buy new underwear.
Did you
Because...
sell your old ones?
Not yet, but it's not completely ruled out. They have seen better days. They're quite holy, and I don't mean...
Not the Catholic way.
Not the Catholic holy. I mean literal holes in my underwear. So...
Give me my nerve medicine.
So my son just interrupted our recording to ask me if he had had his medicine yet. Yes, I gave him his medicine, but he had overheard the story that I was telling you guys. And he shouted, "Got it! Your underwear's holy!"
Left at the Vatican.
Good job. So anyway, back to my holy underwear. I had to buy new, and I was like, okay, Kristina, like, it's been a minute since you've bought some underwear, clearly.
Hold on, you don't just have, like, the kind you buy, and you just buy the same stuff in the same color? Because that's what I do.
Yeah. Okay. But, like, I was realizing that I'm not the size that I was the last time that I bought underwear. You know, I've expanded
Your
my
size
horizons a
range.
bit. So I was like, okay, I'm larger than I used to be. I gotta get new underwear. And so I went on and ordered it from Torrid, as I do. And I was very smart in my selection, but I also realized, like, wow, I'm in my mid-30s because I ordered all granny panties. All of them. Every last one. It goes up to my boobs, covers everything. There is literally everything left to the imagination because it looks like a swimsuit. And I'll tell you what, they're very comfortable. I'm wearing them right now.
Good.
Yeah.
As long as they're comfortable.
Like, I don't have the
You
time.
don't have to try and impress anybody. You got married.
Who do I need to... He doesn't want me to wear them anyway. Just take them off. So, like, they don't need to be sexy. They're in fun colors, but they're high-waisted. I mean, they look like men's briefs. I don't care. I just need to be comfortable. What kind of underwear do you wear?
So they're called Cheekies
Yeah.
from Kohl's, because I buy everything from Kohl's.
Yeah. Always have.
And they're silk, but then, like, the trim is lace, so they look cute.
Yeah.
And I have them
In every color.
Multiples of every color, because...
I did the same thing. I bought granny panties in multiple colors and different fabrics. So, like, it's fine. I tried to buy the lace ones, you know, the cute lace trimmed ones, and the lace would always rip. Hence why I have a bunch of holy pairs of underwear, so.
But it's lace. They're supposed to have holes. Just go with it.
Just go with it. Not when, like, the whole, like my C-section bulge was, like, hanging through the hole. I don't think that's sexy.
maybe somebody does.
I mean, there's a lid for every trash can out there.
Speaking of clothing,
Oh yeah.
so I tried wearing an outfit without a cami on. And
You've
I
never done
felt so naked. Like, how do people not wear a cami at all times? Like,
that. Yeah,
you're
just
just naked under your shirt and it's just touching you? That's weird. No.
yeah, you've worn multiple camis.
I've worn cami under a cami just to not feel weird. Like right now, like cami under a cami.
Yeah.
So it's not just touching my skin.
Like,
and being naked underneath.
Are you naked under your clothes? No, I'm with you. It feels very weird to wear a shirt without a cami under it. I need all the like compression that I can get. So yeah, like the more I'll wear 45.
Even under a hoodie. I have a hoodie on with a cami on underneath of it.
I can't just wear a hoodie on my bare skin. No, I'm with you on that.
You can't touch me.
Yeah, so that's our holy underwear and clothes story for the week.
Check back on our fashion statements next week.
I think my t-shirt. Oh, look, there's crap all over. That's not baby vomit. I don't know what it is, but that's motherhood. And it says my weekend is all booked. Like a book, because I read a lot.
I read a lot too. Just not stuff I can discuss.
No, let's discuss it. What's your like go-to literature these days?
Oh,
don't hide off camera. Get back in here.
That you would find on like the smut spicy talk side of TikTok.
So
that's where I get my references.
You're just reading dirty. Is it at least like a good storyline, or is it like porn where it's like a
storyline? There's a storyline.
But like, somewhere. How gross is gross?
It's not that bad. There's some people that like I was talking to my sister and she was telling me about her book she read where there's multiple people in one relationship. I'm like, how do you keep up? I can barely keep up with 2 people in this book. How do you keep up with multiples? And she's like, it's easy. And I was like,
we are different people.
I can't do it.
I like that both you and your sister are reading smut fiction. That's my favorite.
And then my mom will be like, hey, you read all the time. Do you have book recommendations? And I'm like,
I do not.
So every once in a while I try to like find one that's like
not smutty.
Here's one you can have.
I'm just gonna go and buy like the smuttiest novels I can find and wrap them up for Christmas and drop them at your parents' house and be like, to Mom, love Krissy. I was reading a Disney one the other day. It was Disney smut.
Oh, was that the
Jafar and Jasmine one?
Mm-hmm.
You guys, I have never read such dirty language in all my days.
I have, and I've read it 50 different times, 50 different storylines this month.
I wouldn't even say some of that stuff to my husband, and she's just typing it up for the world to read. I'm blushing thinking about it. Anyways, what kind of show do we have today? Okay, so earlier tonight, we were having our pre-recording beverage, and we were kind of just catching up on things and random topics, and we started talking about if I should become a surrogate to bring in some extra cash. You know, why not? And I was like, my husband would love being around me pregnant all the time. No? Yeah, he'd probably divorce me for sure. But anyway, I was like, that would, you can make so much money that way. And Krissy was like, I hated being pregnant.
I hated it. There was not a moment of pregnancy I liked. I didn't bond with the kids, the baby, the fetus, the alien monster. I didn't find out what I was having. Probably didn't help, but wanted that surprise at the end. But it was just it was an alien, and I called it that the whole time. And I did not bond with the child until I held Brighton and Sophia the first time in the hospital.
Yeah. And I think that's super normal. And I think that there's kind of like this stigma that pregnant women should feel a certain way, like when you're carrying a baby. With Jaden, I had a really easy pregnancy, super easy. And I had the opposite. I was very
You have pictures like every
Yeah, I
month?
took pictures every month. I was very excited. I would talk to my belly. So I did have that connection. With both my kids, I did. But I have talked to a lot of my friends who have had kids and felt the exact same way that you did. And they've all felt horrible about it. And it's like, what's wrong? Especially if it's your first baby, and you're feeling like there's a disconnect. And you're like, I don't really get what everybody's saying. I must be a horrible person. I must be a horrible mother. I'm not feeling the joy and the glowing that everybody else says I should feel. And I think that's really detrimental to a lot of people who end up pregnant. Pregnancy is not one size fits all. Every
Not.
pregnancy is different. I think both of your pregnancies were
Completely
different.
Yeah. I mean, I was sick at the beginning of both of them.
Mhm.
And I had morning sickness for months, it felt like, with Brighton. And then Sophia, I didn't even find out until I was 3 months along that I was pregnant with her. But neither one of them. Like, I think there's maybe 4 pictures total in both pregnancies of me pregnant because it wasn't my thing. I didn't like being pregnant. I love my kids and I love being a mom, but I didn't have that until I was in the hospital holding them.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. You found out you were carrying and it was just instantaneous rainbows and sunshine. And I feel like that is so common. And I just, like, with everything else that's going on in the world, I wish that we would stop. I wish we could stop telling people how to feel or how they should feel in a situation.
And what's normal.
What's normal, what's not normal. Like, this is why having conversations with other moms is so important, because things that you might be going through, like postpartum depression, that's still such a stigma attached to it because so many people are not talking about it. And how you feel is valid. Your emotions are valid. Everything that you're thinking, feeling during pregnancy, during motherhood, during life is valid. And nobody should sit there and tell somebody else, hey, how you feel isn't right. How you feel isn't valid. And you're messed up because you don't feel how everybody says you feel.
Just like mom shaming once you have a baby and breastfeed, bottle feed, cope, sleep, not. We don't need that during pregnancy too. It's hard enough being pregnant, just being pregnant.
Oh
your
my
body
God.
changing, your hormones changing, not understanding what you're going through. You don't need the extra stress of being like, is something wrong with me? Am I doing this wrong?
Am I going to be a horrible mother because I don't feel something right at this moment? There's so much pressure on moms. It's just unbelievable.
Whatever you feel, whatever is comfortable for you, that's the correct thing. There are people that want to hold the baby right away, right when they have them, skin to skin contact. I waited until after my kid had been washed off before I held my kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's whatever is comfortable to you, whatever fits for you. That's the best. That's the best thing for your family, for your kid.
100%. I think that I had a thought and it completely left me, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm 3 shots in.
I went take the second one.
No, she babied out, so I ended up with 3. We were supposed to each have 2.
Somebody thought it was a good idea to get chocolate, and I don't like chocolate. And
Krissy, who bought the alcohol for tonight? You did.
knowing I didn't like chocolate.
Knowing she doesn't like chocolate, this woman brought in chocolate-flavored vodka. I don't...
You like chocolate?
I love that you thought of that. But as soon as you whipped those out, I looked at you and said, you don't like chocolate. She was like,
Yeah.
I know, but,
You get to take all of them now. I tried one.
You did have one. I didn't think you would. But then I ended up with 3. It was supposed to be 2 and 2. But whatever. So if I'm blasted, it's Krissy's fault.
Not the first time.
What else were we talking about? I was watching a TikTok the other day, and it was this guy. I believe he was like a life coach or maybe a mentor to families. I couldn't quite get what his title was, but he was definitely somebody in like family therapy. And one of the things that he said, I mean, it was blunt and to the point, but he said, you know how I can tell a good parent from a bad parent? And he said, it's not that the bad parent fucks up and the good parent doesn't. He said, all parents fuck up. We all mess up. All parents make mistakes. He said the key difference is that a good parent apologizes to their child when they mess up. And this resonated so strongly with me because I have always been the type of parent when I mess up, which I mean, I do on a daily basis, probably. But I always make a point to apologize to my kids. The reason for that is, well, there's a couple things. The reason I apologize to my kids is because I had Jaden very young. So I had him I think I was 19 or 20 when I had him. So I was still like a kid myself. And Jaden and I like to say that we kind of like grew up together because we are super close. For a long time, I was a single mom and it was just me and Jay, me and my boy. And I was navigating becoming an adult while I was navigating becoming a mom, all at once. And I messed up a lot. And I would always, even when he was an itty bitty, like 2 years old, I would say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that mommy yelled today, went off, or I got mad about something that didn't have to do with them.
You jumped to a conclusion that you yelled at them before you got the whole story.
Exactly. These are perfect examples. So I would always I'm so sorry, mommy, so sorry. And now that I have 2 kids now and they're older, Jaden is 13 now. I really want him to understand that like nobody's perfect. So he beats himself up a lot about just a lot of things. He's a very
I feel like
Brighton does the same. So
like
maybe
they mess up and they're like, I'm so dumb, or
yes.
like,
I'm so dumb. I'm the stupidest kid around. I'm the worst. I hate my life. I hate myself. So I'm really trying to teach him during this really tough time. Your teens, your tweens and your teens, this is a tough age for them and they need some grace. And the best way for me to teach Jaden to have grace for himself is to show him grace as well. So it's really important for me to acknowledge when I mess up and be like, look, I am so sorry that I lost my temper today on you because you didn't deserve that. I was in a bad mood because of something else and I took that out on you and that was really wrong of me. Not only am I teaching him like, hey, your parents are human too, and we mess up and we need to acknowledge it. But I'm also teaching him when you mess up, it's okay to say, I'm sorry. It's okay to say, you know what, I messed up in this moment, but I'm not a bad person. Mm-hmm. And so those are the things that I am really trying to teach. But I don't feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't feel like our parents apologized to us. I don't remember it ever happening.
No.
Okay, so I wonder
if like apologies just weren't a thing in my family, and I always just thought it was just my family. Like there are times where my brother, sister, and I fought, we yelled at each other. We never apologized, and then you just start talking again. And there was just never like, I'm sorry I took it out on you. It was just, hey, you want to go grab lunch? You want to go get supper? Like there was never like a conversation about what took
like
place.
An accountability, and then yeah. And I wonder if that was a lot to do with our parents' generation, because I know for sure that her parents, like my mom's parents, never apologized to her. It was a different time. I don't excuse that. I think there's a lot of unresolved, not trauma necessarily, like between my mother and I, but there's definitely a level where I feel there are things that she should apologize for and never has. And so I think like I carry that with me.
I feel like they never realized the effect. And it was always just, that's how we were raised. That's what happened to us. It's okay. We survived.
Yeah.
But like, did you?
Like,
you survived, but like, you didn't realize what it did to you. Like, I feel like millennial, Gen Z, younger generations are realizing the mental impacts on stuff. I feel like the younger generations take better mental care of themselves.
Oh, 100%.
Than the older generations. And we understand what it's doing to you, what it's done to us, what it did to our parents. But I feel like our parents didn't recognize that.
Because there were never conversations. You bring up a really good point. In that generation, mental health was not talked about. You were sent off to a loony bin if
and you were never coming out. And
yeah.
Those asylums were
horrible. It was a dark, dark time for mental health.
Although we've came a long way in the mental health, society hasn't caught up with that.
Yeah. And so, like the boomers' favorite thing to say is that millennials are a bunch of criers and we complain about everything and woe is me. No, we're acknowledging things that we have gone through and how they have affected us, which I don't think previous generations ever did. Do I blame them? Not necessarily. My issue comes with, and it has always been this way, if somebody tells you that you have hurt them you do not get to go to them and say, no, I didn't. This has kind of always been like a trigger for me. So like if I'm telling you, hey, Krissy, you really hurt my feelings when you did X, Y, and Z, and you said, no, I didn't. It wasn't that big of a deal. That's not healthy.
You don't get to decide somebody else's feelings.
100%. And I feel like it has been that way with the older generation. So to this day, like I love my mom to death. My mom is incredible. Not to say she hasn't made her mistakes. Who hasn't? Yeah. We've all made mistakes. But to this day, I am 34 years old, and I can promise you that my mother has never uttered the words, I'm sorry. And I'm not talking like big things that she did and I'm holding on to. No, I'm talking like little everyday things. Like just like I apologize to my kids when I blow my stack. I am, I think, a little bit hurt and carry that with me that like to this day, you know, I live with my mom. Mm-hmm. I live with my mother. So that's a challenge in and of itself. We're two grown women under one roof. But to this day, like she'll say something or do something and it hurts my feelings. And instead of being like, hey, I'm really sorry that hurt your feelings, it's always like, well, you know,
I don't
dodging the accountability.
They realize what they say and how they say it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like in their defense, what they say, they want it to be helpful and they want it to be good, but like the way they say it,
the delivery's off.
Mm-hmm. And then you're immediately like on the defensive. Mm-hmm. Like,
I think there's a lot of like generational trauma from like great grandparents to grandparents to our parents to us. And I feel like we're the first generation that is really trying to like break the cycles of generational trauma, just from conversations that I've had with people.
I would give the generation above us, Gen X, was a little bit better at acknowledging stuff.
You think?
As far as compared to boomers, yes.
Oh, I'm forgetting there's a whole generation between. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, there's Gen X in there.
We always forget poor Gen X. You're doing great, Gen X. Just keep going. Your student loans are about to be paid off. Everything's going to be fine.
Really not student loans. It's more like the interest relief. Just.
Yikes. You're right. Silent generation. Boomers. Gen X. Us.
Millennial. Gen Z. Alpha.
I wondered what they were calling the newbies.
Alpha.
Oh my gosh. So then you know what? Have you been on TikTok yet when they're talking about the 1900s and they're talking about when we were born?
So, my son started middle school and he has not brought home one textbook. And I was like, don't you have homework? And he's like, but I get to work on my homework at the end of class. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I was like, but where are your textbooks? And this kid looks at me and he's like, what is this, the 80s? He's like, it's all on computers.
What is this, the 1900s? Don't do that to us 80s babies. When did this happen? When did we become cringy?
When we were no longer the bar scene. That's when we started becoming cringy.
That hurts. Jaden told me earlier that there was a reason that I wasn't invited on the fishing trip and his dad was. Just because I point out his armpit hair to everybody that comes over? Okay. I thought it was dirt. This is armpit hair. Congratulations, Jaden. That's why I didn't get to go fishing. That's fair. Now he's going to tell everybody it's because of my holy underwear.
So you came from a single family, so obviously your mom was your default parent.
Correct.
I feel like in my family, each kid had a different default parent.
Really?
Like, so my dad's my default parent usually because my dad and I have more stuff in common. We go to concerts together. We like the same movies. We've got the same sense of humor. And although my mom and I have a good relationship, I feel like my sister and my mom, like my mom is my sister's default parent.
But like, who did you go to, like, when you were younger for, like...
My dad.
Dressing you and doing your hair?
Oh, no. Okay, like that stuff.
Yeah. I know he dressed you one time. I've seen the photo.
He didn't dress me. He let me dress myself at 3.
That's why it looks so familiar.
Because... I don't know.
Pajamas to the bar. Yeah, no. So when I'm talking about like default parenting, I mean like who do the kids go to for everything?
So my household's different because Jared and I have a different schedule.
True.
So the kids go to Jared for the morning stuff because he's the only parent there. Bedtime stuff, I'm the only parent there. So they don't have a choice on who to go to.
That's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the flip side, like you're both like single parents, depending on what time of the day it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And getting 2 kids ready in the morning, like I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
It's
not fun.
I help. I lay out their clothes the night before, so he doesn't have to worry about that. He just has to get them up and get them dressed.
Yeah.
Which helps a little bit, but
mornings are a shit show in my house, I can tell you that. But you were explaining to me earlier that like your kids don't fight that much.
They don't. They're 5 years apart and they're best friends, basically.
So jealous.
The most they fight about is what world they want to play in Minecraft, if they want to play Minecraft or Roblox, what YouTube show they want to watch.
So they're not just like haul off and beating the crap out of you. So it's just my kids. Okay, well.
Yep, they've never laid hands on each other. The worst thing is when they get mad and you're not my brother, you're not my sister.
Yeah, I was telling Krissy earlier that as you guys have figured out by now, Jaden had his leg amputated this summer, like 5 weeks ago probably. And somebody asked me how Amara was doing with that. And I looked them dead in the eye and said that she has pushed him over countless times and then said, haha, you can't stand. She's 4. She's 4. Why is this 4-year-old so evil?
Second child syndrome. I swear it's a thing. I swear the first kid
is so sweet.
So much easier. Has a heart of gold. And more emotional, that's for sure.
For sure.
But the second child is your daredevil. You're one that's going to push the limits.
They bust in the room like the Kool-Aid man. Just like, here I am, world. Yeah, that second child doesn't give a
yeah.
Damn.
And I feel like it's because the first child never had a fight for attention. They were always the center of attention. They were the only one. And now the second child comes and they have to fight with the first child to be that center of attention.
That's such a good theory.
And so doing standout stuff like that is what gets the attention. Negative or positive attention, it doesn't matter. They're getting the attention. Because when you're punishing your second and you're sitting them in the corner and you're explaining, you're with them. You're completely devoted to them.
Yeah. Man, you might have just cracked the code for the second child. Second
I don't
children.
know why I could have done it 20 years ago with my sister, but...
Shelly. Hi, Shelly. These shots are kicking in. Okay, so second children are the worst.
Coming from a second child.
Okay, but like for me, it's different. Like I'm definitely the favorite. No contest. Nick who?
I was going to say, is that because she doesn't talk to Nick anymore? Like...
I mean, I might win by default, but whatever. I'm trying to think, like, Mom has told me numerous times that Amara is way worse than I ever was. She definitely has, like, my attitude as far as, like, her temper, like, real bad temper. But, like, I never broke the rules because...
Is she an Aries?
Yes, she is an Aries. I never broke the rules because I was terrified. Like, to this day... Like a parking violation makes me nervous. Like I just can't. I'm a boss in every avenue of my life until it comes to breaking the rules. I don't like to do it. It gives me anxiety. That one, she don't care.
The oldest. I had more rules than every other kid in my family. By the time they got to my brother, it was like, meh, come home sometime.
That's true. You were really, you got the short end of the stick with that.
It didn't help that I was the oldest and a girl and he was the youngest and a boy.
Yeah. And he was 7, 8 years younger than you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The second one is, I mean, she is hilarious. She has her very sweet moments, you know. Sophia does too.
They have huge personalities.
Oh, huge.
Super creative. The things they come up with, but just not afraid of anything.
At all. At all. And it is like I'm trying to, and I'm sure you're in the same boat. Like I'm trying to give her the freedom to be, you know, a girl in today's world. It's hard. It's hard out there. I don't ever want to crush her spirit. I don't want to crush her determination. I don't want to crush that fiery, independent attitude. But aim it somewhere else because I am not the one, honey. Like, it is a fine line that I'm walking. Like, to give her, like, you go, girl, and then I'm going to beat your butt, girl. Like, it's a fine
You know
line.
what's super funny? So Sophia, huge personality, but super shy. Like,
Yeah.
when she goes to school, behind my leg, she won't.
She's very shy when you first meet her. Yeah.
And it's like, when did you become shy? 5 minutes ago? Like, when we got out of the car?
Yeah, that's when they got shy. Not mine. She walked up to her first day of pre-K. Now, mind you, she's 4, so like half of her life has been in isolation from the pandemic. Doesn't have any social interaction to speak of. So I was like, ooh, this is going to be interesting. Like, she's never been around this many kids at once. She's never been out of the house. We'll see. No daycare or anything like that. So I take her to pre-K, and she literally marches up to the front door of the school. All the kids are kind of like running around everywhere by their parents, you know, like a pod over here and a pod over here. And Amara just slowly walks up to each one. Hi, want to be my friend? Holds out her hand, and somehow they take her hand, and then she would go and recruit the next child. And then by the end of her rounds, all the children were gathered around Amara, and she was just in the middle, being the ringleader. And then it was time to say goodbye, and, you know, all the kids are like, bye, mommy, you know, like crying, and moms are crying, and everybody's crying. Mine didn't even look back at me. She just threw up her deuces and walked into the school with the teacher. No fear. I'm like, okay, I'll vote for you. You'll be president someday, but let's make sure you get there, because you are trying every ounce of patience that I have. Raising girls is just something else. Because we both had boys first.
And then a girl.
And then girls. They're a different breed. And I'm thinking, like, oh my God, this is her at 4. What's going to happen in 10 years? We're going to be duking it out on my front lawn. I can promise you. Like, okay, sis, you want to throw hands? It's whatever. I love you, but like...
13, take that times 10.
I know. And then sprinkle Randy.
And who should apologize, you or your mom?
Now, to be fair, I was horrible as a teenager, right? Absolutely horrible. Krissy can attest to that. I was horrible. But I always apologized to my mom. Always. Like, when she and I got into it...
I felt like we weren't that bad once we got to be 18.
Okay, well, at 14, I was pretty terrible. But I always apologized to my mom. Like, I would blow up. I had a temper, and I can cut someone real deep with my words. But I always apologized. I was like, man, that was really messed up of me. I am sorry. I should never have spoken to you that way. Never once was she like, I'm sorry, too. Never. 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 To this day, she said something that pissed me off a week ago. And then, like, if I tell her, like, hey, what you said really pissed me off and hurt my feelings, she's like, oh, well, I didn't mean it that way. And I guess I'm always wrong. And then turns into the victim. Turns into the victim. And somehow I'm the bad guy for her saying something mean to me. And I'm like, you cancers are the most manipulative people. Oh, no. I mean, God love them, but wow. And then my mom's version of an apology is to not talk to me for a week and then come upstairs and clean my kitchen. That's my mom's way of apologizing. And like, cool, like, I love you for cleaning my kitchen. That's so nice of you. But it would be nice for you to apologize for the mean things that you said. That would be nice too. I'm just saying.
Good luck. Figure it out.
I'll let you know how our relationship is after this episode airs.
Does she listen?
Every week. Don't worry, I can edit it.
Hi, Rita.
Hi, Mom. I love you. Even though you piss me off sometimes. No, she knows I love her. I just feel like we could be so much closer if we like had like a open conversation.
Could you imagine going on vacation with your mom?
Absolutely not. No.
I do.
I know. I don't know how
my mom and my aunt.
I don't know how you do that every year and you're like, oh, I'm so excited. I would want to shoot myself. No.
My mom, my aunt, and the 2 kids. I mean, on a road trip, by the way. It's not just
it's and like not like
somewhere, like
not like Disney World road trip, like
Kansas. We did Kansas this year.
You do go to some really cool places, though.
Mm-hmm.
Your pictures are always cool.
Yeah.
But
it's always a lot of fun.
Is it?
Vacations have always been super educational for me. Like, I don't know who's going to, like, Six Flags and Worlds of Fun. We're going to, like, Mount Rushmore and Nicodemus, Kansas. And if you don't have a fort somewhere on your vacation, it doesn't count.
Yeah. You always go to, like, what was that one place that you went? I just remember you taking pictures of the kids in, like, an old-fashioned jail cell. Didn't you go somewhere like that?
So that time we went to Toadstool Park. And there's this little place outside Toadstool Park that...
Toadstool?
Toadstool.
Like a toadstool.
Toadstool, yeah.
Okay. It came out as Toadstool.
It's a fun place that I've never actually seen. So many, many moons ago.
many moons.
Going when it was my sister, me, my mom, and my aunt. And I was probably 5, which meant Shelly was 2. Hailstorm in the middle of nowhere where it's like covered the ground where it looked like snow in the middle of summer. So we had to run back to the car. So then we tried going back a couple years ago when I took that picture of the kids in the jail cell.
Yeah.
And my mom, we got out of the car, was getting the stroller out. By the time I got the stroller out, we were just covered in bugs because it had been such a rainy season that year. And we're like,
so hail.
We're going to try again in 25 more years.
It sounds like Jesus is coming back.
He's telling us not to go to Toadstool Park. I bet it's beautiful.
We'll
never know. Because in 25 years, I don't think my mom and aunt are making that trip. She can't walk now. It's a hiking trip. Don't look at me like didn't say they were dying.
That's how I heard it.
She's already had 2 knee surgeries.
She's fine, guys. She just has bad knees. My mom is to the age where she says things, and I'm like, what did she say? I think I was talking about Amara going off to high school or something. My mom's like, well, I won't be there for that. And I'm like, stop! You stop it right now. Like, she drives me nuts, but I don't want her dead.
The queen died. Is that how we just transitioned?
Yeah. You just randomly throw things out. Perfect. That was a smooth transition. I don't want my mom to die. The queen died? Can you believe it? No, I don't know how I feel about it. It's weird. It's
sad in the fact that she's just always been around in our lifetimes.
And our parents' lifetimes.
When you think of England, you think of the queen.
Yeah. 70 years she was the queen.
She took over when she was 26.
That is a long... So she's like, I get it. Like, royalty, a British, English? I told you I've had 3 shots. Anyway, she's been the queen forever, like forever and ever. So, like, I get it, and I understand that they are very upset over there and mourning and grieving. But like, I know that she has done some.
You personally know? Like,
I know, like I know, like I am in there like swimwear. I've got all the dirty details. No, I mean we all know that there's some skeletons in that closet. I don't know. It's I don't know. There's the Princess Diana thing. There's some other things.
You think of her son's name.
Is it Charles? Or the other one?
The other one. Oh, there's 2 actually. No, that was her husband.
Krissy, I am halfway to drunk. Andrew.
She has a daughter too. Know the daughter?
No, I did not know that.
Anne.
There's a daughter? Where the hell is she?
Staying away from the royal family.
Apparently. I didn't know that. I thought it was just the 2 sons.
There's 3 sons and a daughter.
Wait, there's 3?
Pause.
Okay. See, this is why I'm American. Because I know nothing. There's 3?
There's 3 sons and a daughter.
I am so shooketh. I can't even.
King Charles, Prince Andrew, and Prince Royal, and Prince Edward.
Who the hell is Prince Edward?
The youngest son.
Wait, okay, so why are Harry and...
Because they're next in line.
Why? If she has other sons?
So, because it goes by the oldest son. So even though she's got other sons, her oldest son gets to be king.
Yeah.
And then if he's got kids, it continues in that lineage.
Shut up.
If he didn't have kids,
it would go to the next?
then it would go to the next kid.
Whoa.
But because he's got kids, it just stays in.
Huh. Wow, that seems super unfair. Anyway, royalty's weird. I'm sorry, it just is.
It's only weird because we're not used to it.
That's what I mean.
I'm sure, like...
It makes sense there?
It makes sense. Because they grew up with it and they understand it.
But, like, what does the queen do? Because the prime minister runs everything.
And welcome to British
We are the worst
politics.
people to figure this out. You want to hate Americans? Please listen closely.
We know nothing.
We know nothing. What does she do?
The most we studied about England was we dumped your tea in the Boston Harbor.
And we've seen Hamilton. That's the extent of our knowledge.
Yeah.
Wow, I can see why everybody hates us. No more talking about things we don't understand. Rip Queen Elizabeth.
So transitioning.
So adult friendships, they're weird.
Great. We never see each other though. This is our first time in.
Not that long. I did see you 2 weeks ago.
So we did see you for a little bit.
But then before that, it was
hanging out alone since the last time we recorded. We haven't
God.
hung out alone since the last time we recorded.
That's true. But that's what I love about our friendship is we can go months without seeing each other. And it's we pick up we never left.
Yeah. And that's completely okay. Sometimes you have friendships where, Erica, she lives in another state. And so I never see her. And I don't talk to her when she's not here.
Mm-hmm.
She'll text me hey, I'm going to be back these days. Do you want to hang out? And then we hang out.
Yeah.
But then when she's not here, it's not like I'm texting her every day hey, how's it going? We never text. We don't have a texting friendship.
No.
It's weird.
It
We've
is
talked
weird.
about that before.
I think it's because you have an Android.
I mean, I have a better phone than you?
Yeah. It's because your text bubble pops up green, and I'm not about that green bubble life. Yeah. So, the people that I text every day are the ones that have the blue bubble, and I can see when they're typing back to me. So it's I'm having a conversation where, with you, it's did she get it? Is her phone off? Is she in the country, or is she in Great Britain or England? I don't know.
Oh, by the way, the difference is England is the country. Great Britain encompasses Wales and Scotland. We looked it up.
We looked it up because we know nothing. So, R.I.P. Queen Elizabeth of England. See? I know a little bit. But anyway, yeah, I don't text you because you have an Android. If we do have a conversation, it's through Facebook Messenger. Have you ever noticed?
Is that just so you can see if I'm... Hey, do you know how you can see if people are reading your message? Get an Android.
You know how you could show me that you're reading my messages? Get an iPhone.
I've never had an iPhone.
That's what we should talk about. iPhone versus Android. Here we are. The battle of the battle.
The battle of the battle. That's an iPhone user for you.
No, seriously, what the is up with you Android people? You're my phone's better, and it's okay, but you have a green text bubble.
Talk about my phone. I feel like I just have an Android because that's what we have. All of our devices, all the same. All of our chargers are the same.
Icky.
It works great.
Icky.
I can video call with them.
Correct. That's why we don't talk. I'm just saying.
No, so when I got my phone, I got a smartphone the year I had Sophia.
That's right. You were the last human alive that didn't have a smartphone.
I still had a slide phone. Until 6 years ago when I had Sophia. And when I went to get my phone, at that time, I was on maternity leave, and I was hey, we use a lot of Google Drive. I need a phone that can give me the Google Drive. And then it's never I need this kind of brand. It's more I need my phone to do this function. What's the best phone for that function? And I don't really care what it is.
When I pick out a phone, I'm okay. is it a blue text bubble or is it a green text bubble? Like me and my single
Do you know
friends.
what I heard one time? That the reason the bubbles are different is because iPhone refuses to update their messaging system to the new century of messaging that everybody else is using.
Not
and then
everybody
continues
else.
to just be like, hey, push it being the blue-green bubble thing because we refuse to update our system.
1000%, because blue is better than green. I'm sorry that you had to find out this way. I'm sorry that our friendship is now come to an
update,
end.
Then your phone would do the stuff with all other phones.
But
it wouldn't matter.
My phone makes sense when you unlock it. And I'm like, I want to go to a camera. Boop.
Oh, I don't even have to unlock it to go to the camera.
I don't either.
Camera.
But when you pull open your apps, I can't figure that out.
What do you mean you can't?
That's what?
Oh, so if I click on that, that's all my Google that stuff. All Google's under there. Anything that's a Google app.
If you handed me your phone, it was call 911.
You can just see the one that's a phone.
No, this looks so complicated to me. Mine
and then
are
I have
just
subfolders: games, food.
I love
shopping,
that you have that many food apps.
I have 2 pages.
Yes, that's why you're my best friend. Where do you want to eat? I got my apps.
Where are we going?
Yeah, no. I will dead ass have a conversation with my single friends, and they'll be like, "Girl, he texted me and it was a green bubble," and I'm like, "Huge red flag. Get him on out of there."
I converted. Who doesn't have those conversations? Android users.
Yeah, because you guys are basic.
They're not so simple. They don't care about stuff like that.
Oh, okay. All right.
I converted. I'm going to make my complete relationship decision on a green and blue bubble.
You know who I can FaceTime? Literally everybody but you.
You can Facebook me.
No.
Yeah, but you can go to Facebook Messenger.
But I could just
and call me.
Open up my phone and FaceTime everybody.
I can do that.
I can't do that to you.
When I call.
I can't do that to you.
Yeah.
It was really nice knowing you.
It's great. 15-year friendship. Green and blue bubble.
It's not my fault that
you're... They always warned me about iPhone users.
Now we know the real side of an Android user. And on that note, we're going to end this podcast because I don't want to talk to an Androider anymore. And I don't think she wants to talk to an iPhoner.
It was great knowing you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
You are...
I will not be back.
Never welcome again.
Of a green and blue bubble.
And I really hope you guys enjoyed Krissy's last podcast with us.
Thank you to all the Android users out there listening. And the iPhone people that don't care about a green and blue bubble.
We all care about a green or blue bubble. So, you've just alienated our entire family.
No, I'm sure you have Android listeners that are not alienated. They're alienated by you and Elizabeth.
I bet we can look up my statistics and see that most of our listeners are on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
So.
I listen on Spotify.
I cannot get into it. And I'm not hating. It's just the Apple one is just right there. So I'm just
Spotify's right there.
Not on my phone.
Yeah. Do you know what's right there? Kindle, so I can read my books.
You're dirty, smutty.
Only the important ones make it on my home screen.
That's awesome. She has 4 on her home screen, and one of them is her smutty books.
My books, phone, messaging,
food.
It's great.
Anyway, that is all the time we have tonight, guys. Thank you. No, for real. We're gonna be friends. We just need a break. That's all. We just need a break to work through this blue and green bubble.
We hang out for one night, and then we'll go 2 months without hanging out.
At least.
And then we'll be like, why haven't we hung out? Then we hang out in it, and we're like, oh.
That's why.
This is why
we don't hang out. No, I love you. You're my favorite person on the planet. But yeah, thank you so much. Krissy is going to be back twice a month, right? Twice a month. if we can work through this green blue bubble bullshit. And Elizabeth will be here twice a month. So they are splitting their duties. Yes. And I thank my lovely bestie for hopping in and helping us out. But we're going to have a lot of fun this season. Krissy's going to be here, and we are going to have a blast. So again, thank you so much. And I will see you.
Thank you for listening.
Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. And signing off, Millennial Momming. We will catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.